Hey there. So welcome to this new test video. Today I will test a few instruments. Actually, I think 6 instruments for you. So there are 2 that are at the price that we discussed, and 4 that are a little bit lower in the price. So we will see all these instruments. I will choose one. I would say choose one out of these 6 for you, which I think that is maybe the best. And if you agree, then it will be for you. And if not, if you prefer another one, you can tell me, and then eventually I will talk with the shop, see if it's still available. If yes, then it will be for you. So I did not check these instruments before this video, so I will really kind of give you a very raw test video of all these instruments. So as there are 6, this video might be a little bit long. So well, let's get to it right away. So we will start with the instruments that are a little bit cheaper than what we discussed on the chat. So you can see it's like 1,200,000. We discussed instruments that were 1,500,000, so it's like around I think 60 something euro, maybe cheaper. I'm not sure, but I would need to check on my spreadsheet. So let's see that one directly how it is. So okay, so here we have ebony for the core of the peg. The horse head is like that, a little bit kind of simple like that. The mane is not really that detailed. Then like that. The body is also kind of pretty simple. The wood and the feel feels more like a study instrument than an intermediate quality. That was a little bit what I was talking about in the chat. Also, I can see that there is some paint or something a little bit weird here, which is a little bit unfortunate, like kind of green spot. Also here there is some wood that were scratched. So well, that's not really a good start, but still I want to play so you can have a wide range of instruments to compare and see the difference between the few price variation and stuff. So let's see how it sounds. Yeah, and here when they put the lock, there were some crack dust and stuff that was there, so it's full of dust inside the lacquer ring, so this might need some sanding to be cleaned. So definitely in terms of making that instrument is not really good. It's even a little bit more, there is more flaw that there are on studies instruments, so I would not go with this one, but just to give you a sound reference, that's how it is. So well, the sound is actually not that bad. It's a little bit mute. There is really a lot of bass. And when we start to play the double string with the fingers, it kind of tend to mute a little bit and to lose that kind of like brightness. So it's very warm. It's kind of like a fine sound, but for me, that's kind of closer to like a study instrument, like a good study instrument, which a study instrument is half the price, more than half the price, like that. So well, that's kind of for a first reference. So let's check the second instrument that is at this price. So as you can see, it's also 1,200,000. This one is a little bit darker. So same, we have ebony for the tailpiece. We have like kind of very simple ebony for the touch, ebony for the core of the pegs. And this time the horse head is a little bit more worked on, but well, the wood of that part got this like kind of like mark, kind of the knot and stuff. So it's not always pretty to have it on this part. So well, aesthetically that's a little bit like a downer, but it's kind of like fine in terms of making. It's not gonna be fragile or anything. The neck feels quite comfortable, which is great. And now the making of the box is pretty okay. There are like a few marks there and there. It feels a little bit better than the previous one, but still a little bit close to, you can see that the polish is a little bit better than the previous instrument. The wood also is a little bit better, even though that's the same price. The only thing is that this little piece there is a little bit glued, not properly, so I think it's gonna dislocate after a while. Other than that, well, that's kind of okay. So let's see the sound. Yeah, no. So well, the sound is very, it's kind of like strong on the higher string, a little bit soft on the lower string. The fact that it's not holding the tuning is a little bit annoying right now. So yeah, actually the sound is kind of fine. the sound is kind of strong, but I think that it's very unbalanced between the lower string and the higher string. When we start to hit on the higher string, it's really popping like a lot, while when we play on the lower string, kind of feels to drop. So it's not really balanced, and the sound is very like inside. It's not really spreading. It's really staying inside the instrument, not really shining, I would say, outside and spreading and bouncing everywhere. So well, kind of like not that comfortable. Also, the pegs are not that comfortable. Kind of need to force quite a lot, which is a little bit, I would say, annoying. We want something that is a little bit more softer. And I know that usually the pegs on the instrument that are like 1.2 or 1.3 and sometimes 1.5, they tend to be a little bit not that well made. I'm not sure exactly why the difference, because normally that's the same, but the pegs usually they have, maybe they have a little bit less work on the core side. So well, that's just to give you an idea of the instrument that are a little bit lower in price. So now, okay, that's right. Now we can go a little bit higher in price. So now we have like an instrument that is like 1 million, yeah, 1,300,000. And the thing is, so the touch here is a little bit thinner, and we don't have ebony pegs anymore. It's just birch. And the fact that it's that price is because there is the zebad sculpted there. So it's also a little bit bigger inside because of this part. So basically on that you would pay a little bit more because of this sculpture on the neck. So other than that, it's kind of the same as the previous instrument. We still have ebony for the tail though, but the pegs are just in birch. So basically this means that the pegs will take a little bit of humidity. It might expand. When it's humid, it might shrink quite a bit when it's very dry. So it might make the peg a little bit, sometime, I would say, like not that comfortable, not very stable to adjust and everything. So that might not be very, I would say, optimal. Other than that, the making of the box is pretty okay. I don't see any major flaw. And yeah, here even the sculpting is pretty fine. They put some additional wood on the side though, so not everywhere. I think they just messed with that kind of like earring. So they added some wood on the top. Other than that, that's kind of fine. Nice thing, the head, and this is like one piece, which is kind of nice, but it means it's also quite fragile. So well, yeah, so that's for the body. So let's hear the sound of this one. Pegs are much more comfortable. And sound is actually pretty cool. instrument, the tuning keep dropping because the strings are not stable yet. So actually the sound is really cool, really nice. So, well, here I think you can definitely hear that the sound is much more open, it's spreading much more outside the instrument. I'm pretty confident when usually when we have an instrument that has this kind of like spreading sound, usually it can evolve pretty well. It's not gonna stay inside, so the sound will keep evolving and opening a little bit. So well, this one is for the three that we saw, this one is definitely the best. The only bemol, the only bad side I would say is that the pegs are not in ebony. For that price, well, that's a little bit annoying. But you have this nice sculpting on the head. So basically, the sound is pretty good, the best of the three that we saw so far. And you have a nice sculpting, but you don't have the pegs in ebony. So well, that's kind of like a matter of preference and what you would go for. So there is another one which is at that price, and it also kind of also has this basically same idea, same sculpting, maybe just a little bit darker. Here we can see the addition of wood on the side a little bit more. So that for me that's a little bit unfortunate. I don't know if you can see on the video. Yeah, I don't know how I can show you. Maybe you can see a little bit that here there is a connection, kind of like the wood was glued on each side. It's always some trickery that they do to save wood and to make more instrument from less wood. Instead of cutting like a big part and then shrinking everything, they make it smaller, and then on this part they add wood. So instead of having only one piece of wood for the whole neck, it's added on the side. So it's kind of like to keep the price a little bit lower, save some material as well. So I can say directly that I feel the box is not as good as the previous one. And here there is an here you can see it took a hit or something, the wood exploded, and then they glued it back. So that's for me like totally a no. I would not sell that. So, but let's still hear the sound. It's also, the sound is pretty cool. the sound is really cool, very dynamic. The sound is the best of the four actually, in my opinion. So basically, it's just like the previous one. For me, the finish of the box is a little bit lower quality than the previous one, even though that's the same price. Um, there is this little patch work here, which is not really cool because it's like 1,300,000 instruments. So this is definitely something that should not really happen. Here we have a really good backwood actually. That's really nice. The backwood actually is, that part is really great. And yeah, that was a little bit painted, but well, that's kind of fine. Here there is a little knot as well. So well, it's not perfect like aesthetically it's definitely not perfect. So if you're fine with a little flow on the aesthetic, like small little the knot of the wood here that was taken out, so there is a little bump like that. Here it was painted because they cut maybe a little bit too much, maybe 1 millimeter. There is a patchwork. So there is these little very minor, it's all aesthetic things, right? It's not gonna make the instrument explode or anything. The sound is really great.